Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, 23 Flavors of Stitching. My name is Kirsten and today is going to be a mid-year WIP parade. If you are new to my channel because you clicked on it because it said mid-year WIP parade, hi, how are you? Quick little intro, I'm Kirsten. I am almost 27 years old. I started cross-stitching in 2018. My channel is 23 Flavors of Stitching because I love Dr. Pepper, but I also feel like I stitch a little bit of everything. I have a few full coverages. I don't know if I have a traditional sampler. I have a long dog. I have some little cutesy patterns. I have a little bit of everything. So I hope you stay and watch. This might be, I don't even know. Let's just get into it. I have all of my WIPs in a pile, well, in two different piles here. And hopefully we can get through them all relatively quickly. I will have to get some cover photos off of my iPad or off of my Kindle Fire from Pattern Keeper, but hopefully it should go relatively smoothly. The ones that you will see first are projects that I haven't really picked up in a while, and I haven't really had a stitchy bug, so I'm hoping to get this video out for the viewers who, I don't know if anyone misses watching my videos, but if they do, I want to get this out for you guys. So let's get started. So first up is a little cutesy design that I started back in 2018. I got it off of Etsy and I started it because I finished my last semester of college in 2017, and so I kind of thought it would be fun to do this one. It is by PrintAndDecor on Etsy, and it says, I have a degree. And I am not using the called for colors, but I am using a blue and yellow. I'm stitching it on a 16 count white Aida, and that's what I have done. I should probably pull this one out just to get it finished because I feel like it would be a pretty easy one to finish. There's that. Okay, next up is another one that I haven't worked on in a little bit, and it is by Lila's Studio, and it is Halloween Quaker. This is what the cover image will looks like. This is what it will look like when it's done. I am doing my own conversion of this one for the colors, and I am stitching it on, I'm not stitching it on the called for. Okay, I am stitching it on 18 count Haunted by Seraphim. That's where I'm at with it. I am doing six of the called for colors and then 4 of my own that I liked a little bit better than the called for. Okay, next is another one that I have to search for. It is Knee High by the 4th of July. I think it's just Knee High is what it's called. I don't know where this one would be. I think, so I had to switch iPads because mine died, and I think I had accidentally deleted okay, here it is. That is okay. We go. I got this off of the Readly app. It's just cross stitch August 2015. That's what it will look like when it is all done, if it ever gets stitched on. And this is where I'm at. I'm stitching it on an 18 count. I'm stitching it on 18 count dirty Aida, and I am doing my own conversion. I just went off of the picture. Okay, next up is one that a few people will know. It is Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. Here is the cover photo. I'm stitching it in various greens. My university that I went to was green and white, and I went back to school right as COVID hit, so my last 2 years of school were during COVID. So I'm doing it in various greens for that, and I'm stitching it on a 28 count Springfield, I want to say. Springfield Sage. Yeah. 28 count Springfield Sage Lugana. 1/1. So there's that. And I know that there's some back stitching. Oh well. I didn't want it to be huge, so. Alright. Next up is I don't have the cover image photo. It is by, oh, hold on. Nope, I don't. It is by Hello from Liz Mathews. It is called Gather Here. I am stitching it on, I believe, 18 count fiddler's cloth or oatmeal Aida, and I am stitching it with Gentle Arts wrought iron. It's like a bluish black. So there's that. Next up is one of my cities that I have been to that I'm doing a whole collection of that I want to turn into a quilt. This one is Miami. Here's where I'm at. I'm stitching it on 16 count Lambswool Aida. And I am using the called for DMC. Next is one from Etsy, and it is from HyggeCrossStitch on Etsy, and that's what it will look like when it's finished. I believe it's just, when I bought it, it was just called Citrus. Now I believe it's called Oranges, but I'm not sure. I'm stitching it on 16 count ice blue. Yeah, 16 count ice blue with the called for colors. And that's where I'm at. There are some of these that I'm looking at that I'm like, oh, even though I'm not really stitching right now, that might be a good one to like mindlessly stitch on, like this one, just to fill in all of that red. Okay. Next is another one from Etsy. It is by StoneStreetStitchworks, and it is Fervent Fall. I am stitching it with my own color conversion, but I'm trying to, but I went like based off of the picture, so they all look similar to what the picture looks like. And I'm stitching it on 16 count Country French Cafe Mocha. That's where we're at. Okay, up next is the charity stitch along from Fat Quarter Shop from a couple of years ago. I'm not sure what year this one was. I don't think I have it on here. I might need to go download it again, actually. Okay. But it's the Heartfelt Sal, and I'm stitching it on the called for 14 count pale gray gingham Aida, and I'm using the called for DMC. And that's where I've gotten to. Up next is one that I started this year. It is Spring Awakens by Summerhouse Stitchworks. I started it for March Stitchy Madness. I am stitching it with the called for DMC on white chocolate. Maybe it's not called for. I'm not stitching it with the called for. I'm stitching it with similar colors. Oh wait. I need help. I am stitching it with 2 of the called for colors, and then I substituted the pink to be more of like a peachy pink. But I'm stitching it on 16 count Fog by Picture This Plus. And that's my tiny measly start. And this needle minder is one that I made. You can find similar ones on my Etsy shop. Okay. Next up is another Long Dog sampler. It is called the Quilted Bees. I am actually going to omit the bees and just have it be the quilt squares. Which are not squares. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm stitching it on 16 count white chocolate, I believe. Yes, 16 count white chocolate. Then next, I am stitching the Modern Folk Embroidery Move Forward in Love for one of my sisters-in-law, and it was their Pride Sale in 2020, I think. And I am stitching it the monochrome pattern, but with multiple colors. So everything around the center medallion will be black, and then the center medallion will have the rainbow. And the words Move Forward in Love will be the rainbow. And I'm stitching it on a 16 count white. And then last in this pile is Lizzy Kate, Housework Never Killed Anyone. I am restitching it. I have already stitched this once in 2020. I'm restitching it to match the colors of my current home. And that is where I'm at. Oh, that is upside down. This is where I'm at with it. I'm stitching it on 18 count Silver Moon with my own color conversion. 18 count Silver Moon, and I'm doing a Forbidden Fiber color conversion. And there they all are. All right. Last pile. I am stitching Forbidden Fiber Co. Sharks and Minnows. This came in the Yellowstone box. Yeah, box. And it's a RIP quote. There's sharks and minnows in this world. If you don't know which one you are, you ain't a shark. And I'm using the called for fabric with the fall. Well, I'm stitching it on the 16 count Palomino because I opted for the 16 count with the called for colors. This would also, for the most part, be very good for mindless stitching. Next up is Light a Single Candle by Modern Folk Embroidery. I am stitching it on, oh, that's what it'll look like when it's done. I'm stitching it on 16 count French Country Aida, and I am using Roxy Floss Milkshake for the floss. And this is where I'm at. In a perfect world, this would be done this year. But seeing as I have not wanted to stitch for a month and a half, we will see how that goes. Alright, next is another one from Etsy. It's another one of the places that I've been that I'd like to turn into a quilt. The PDF does not want to, oh, there it is, okay. It is Maui by Awesome Pattern Studio. This is what it will look like when it's done. I am stitching it on 16 count Wren by Picture This Plus, and I am using I'm using the called for DMC, I believe. If not the called for, then something that's really similar. And I've been working on this slowly but surely the last couple of weeks. Like today I've stitched 41 stitches. That may be all it gets done today, but it's better than no stitches. Alright, next up is by Emma Congdon, and it is from her Cross Stitch for the Earth book. I started this a couple of years ago on Earth Day, and it is Unplug and Go Outside. This is what it will look like when it's done, hopefully, eventually. I'm stitching it on either a 14 or a 16 count. I'm not entirely sure. Aida, white Aida. I'm using the called for DMC, and this is where I am at. I just want to see something. There we go. That's where we're at. Next is one from Etsy. It is by Tiny Modernist. I started it a few years ago. Haven't made a ton of progress on it, and it is a sugar skull. I'm stitching it with the called for DMC on 14 count black. Then I have Little Women by, oh gosh, the Stitching Book Club. I haven't touched this since the book club for this was actually going, and I'm deciding on if I want to finish it or just kind of leave it as it is. Or like just bring this border down or something. We'll see. I'm stitching it on 14 count Oatmeal with the called for DMC. Up next is Praiseworthy Stitches Simple Gifts Christmas. This is what it will look like when it's finished. I am stitching it on 18 count oatmeal or fiddler's cloth. I'm honestly not positive. I am stitching it with my own color conversion, but similar to the cover photo. I believe I'm using all Gentle Arts. The green is Otter Creek. The yellow is Wheatfield, I want to say, and the red, I'm not sure what the red is. This one I actually worked on a lot this past Christmas, I believe. Next is by Modern Folk Embroidery. It is called the Moonshine Cabin. This was a collaboration with Modern Folk Embroidery, Evertote, and Roxy Floss. I am stitching it on 16 count Midnight Gray with the called for Roxy Floss. And that's where we're at. Next is Plum Street Samplers Cinnamon Stars. I am stitching it on 16 count Country French Cafe Mocha with the DMC conversion except for 3 colors. And then last but not least are some full coverages, and then my big patriotic piece. So this is my first full coverage I ever started, and it is Minnie the Enchanted Christmas Reindeer by artwork by Donna Gelsinger, charted by Heaven and Earth, and that's what it'll look like when it's done. Hopefully. I'm stitching it on 20, I think it's a 25 count pewter Lugana with the called for DMC, and this is where I'm at. I got on a full coverage kick this year, and who knows, I might get back on it. Up next is another full coverage. It is my biggest one. I am sad to say that I am considering UFOing this and doing one of the crops. It is beautiful. The colors are amazing. It's over 1 million stitches, and I just know that I won't get it done ever, especially with how my stitching's going. So I'm debating on scrapping the big piece and just doing one of the crops, but we will see. And this is Catching Rays, artwork by Abraham Hunter, charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. And this is what it will look like when it's done. If it ever gets done. It is stunning. I just know that I won't ever finish it. I would much rather buy it. I don't want to say much rather. At this point in how my stitching is going, I think I would rather buy a print of it and hang it up somewhere, because it is beautiful. I just know that I won't be able to stitch it. Here's where it's at. I'm stitching it on a 28 count Lugana, 28 count easy count white Lugana. Okay. Next up is a full coverage from Etsy from Awesome Pattern Studio. It is Augusta National Golf Course. I'm stitching it for my husband. This is what it will look like when it is finished. This is hole 12. And this is where I'm at. These blank sections are all one color. That would be easy fill in. I say that, but I think I worked on this for almost like a month, and then I got kind of sick of the colors. Okay. And I'm using the called for DMC. I'm stitching it on 16 count white Aida. And then my last full coverage, I started for Easter this year. It is called Be Still My Soul, artwork by Mark Missman, and it is charted by Charting Creations. This is the artwork and what it will look like when it's finished. And this is where I'm at. I started in the bottom left corner and I'm stitching it on 28 count Monaco, 2 over 1 10th stitch. And then last but certainly not least is my big patriotic piece. It is One Nation by Bygone Stitches. This is what it will look like when it's finished. It is the flag that has the states in the stripes in the order that they joined the Union. I am stitching it on 18 count coffee tea dyed fabric by me, and I am stitching it with I just forgot. Classic Colorworks Wavy Navy, Classic Colorworks Ruby Slippers, and Weeks Dye Works Whitewash, I believe. And this is where I'm at. Besides Maui, this is the one that I've worked on most recently, and I have been working on completing the stripes. These stripes. And I just had moved the Q-snap over to finish bringing these across. My original goal for this for the year was to finish the blue part, but I decided that I didn't want to leave all the stripes for the end, so we'll see. And those are all my WIPs. 33 minutes. I feel like that's not terrible for a WIP parade. If you have any questions about any of them, please leave a comment down below. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you remember that someone always needs you, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye.